Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. Today's webinar is we're looking at use cases of our portal product. Specifically today, we're looking at a customer portal for a distribution company. So we have a lot to cover today, so no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, so the agenda for today is, first of all, we're going to look at the features by industry. So we're going to look at which industries of our customers that are using the portal product, specifically what features are the most popular amongst each of those industries. Next, we're going to go through a demo. Again, we're going to look at the distribution industry today. Third step here is we're going to look at a customer site and see how they're using it in real life. And then in closing, we're going to go through next steps. Okay, so what we've done here is we basically took all of our portal customers and we separated them into whether or not they were using it for a customer portal or a vendor portal. And then from there, we broke it down into the various industries, classifying all those customers. And when we looked at each industry, we looked at what they were using the portal for. And that's what this is a summary of. And before I go over this, this is not a perfect science, right? Like any industry could really use a portal for different types of functions. These are just the classification that sort of led to the more popular features, if you will. So today we're looking for customer portal, again, amongst distributors or the distribution industry. And here's the features that we found to be the most popular: financial management, data management, reporting, and fulfillment. Does that mean they could use any of these features? Of course, like I already said, the answer is yes, but these are the most popular features for this industry. Now, your next question is, what do each of these things mean? And we're going to go into a definition of each of them. So financial management is the ability to view, print, pay invoices and statements, monitor due dates, discount status, update ACH and payment details, application of credit memos. Data management is basically the customer maintaining their own data through the portal. So that's view and edit customer information, addresses, phone, personnel data, tax registration, etc. Reporting is the sharing of dashboards and KPIs with customers and giving them the ability to print their own reports. And fulfillment is viewing details of jobs, order status, tracking shipments, delivery dates, and percentage of completion. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and look at our sample portal. Okay, here is our distribution customer portal demo site. And the first thing to say, all of our portals, of course, are based on this SharePoint platform. So this is a SharePoint site. We've branded it specifically to a distribution industry, created some calls to action and things like that, and added our product to the mix to allow the integration of this data from the ERP system. So let's go through this really quick. We have the ability to look at orders, invoices, returns, inventory, the ability to view contracts, shipments, reports, as well as an integrated document library showing things specific to a given customer. And then we have some additional calls to action over here: changing customer information, ACH change form, updating contact records, completing a satisfaction survey, and viewing a discussion board. So first things first, this is the SharePoint site. You could brand it really however you want, right? So the layout, the look and feel, the imagery, of course, all of that is up to you. We're going to go through each of these, and what you're going to find that these calls to action are going to bring up data from the underlying ERP application that is filtered for this authenticated customer. So if I go into orders here, I'll go ahead and click on that one. What is happening, you're going to see that brief working on it, and it is querying the orders for the specific logged in customer and showing those to that user. So here you can see I have the ability to view my orders. I could go into them. I could edit maybe certain information, delete line items. Maybe before I've begun the fulfillment process, I want to give my customers the ability to add items or edit quantity associated to those. They could do all that, as well as they could create new orders from scratch. The creation screen leverages the web services of the underlying ERP. So you can see it's returned here with all of the defaults and all of the customer built to and shipped to that the ERP provided me. Again, we're not trying to replicate the underlying functionality of the ERP, we're rather giving you a window into that data and giving you the ability to create orders in a limited fashion directly from the portal. After I create the header of the order, I could go ahead and add items. From here, I could select whatever items I want and specify a quantity, and then it goes and heads and adds that directly to the order itself. Okay, so that was order creation. Let's keep going here. Another thing you can see is the ability to submit it. Submitting an order will kick off a workflow for this, so we'll look at that in a second. It's going to kick off an approval process associated to these new orders that I've just entered. Let's keep it rolling. In addition to orders, I also have invoices. In addition to my customers seeing their own invoices, drilling into them, looking at the details of them, they could also print them. Any print function is ultimately calling the underlying ERP report. So if this was a branded report, it would call that report and again, render it as a PDF in the system. So you could print it, save it, whatever you want to do. Invoices also have another function that's common to them. That's the ability to pay them. So I could check on which invoices I want to pay here and then click the checkout. And what this is doing is calling a payment service. So I could go ahead and put my credit card information in here and pay the invoices directly from the portal. Other things you see, returns. I have the ability to edit returns, submit returns for workflow again, create new ones. So all of the similar functions that you have with the order entry. Again, really any CRUD operation, create, read, update, delete is possible from the portal. It's just a matter of configuration. Maybe I want to give my customers the ability to see inventory in the system. You can see order, a quantity of the inventory as well as that on order. And then let's skip down and go through some more. So let's go through shipments. This is the ability to see my shipments, as well as you can see tracking numbers and the ability to click on those and see the tracking details of each of these orders, as well as view reports. Here you can see a sales store report. So this would be more applicable for like a distributor or someone who is selling my product. So they could see per location, per employee, what their sales are that they've distributed for my company. Let's go through the ability to change customer information. I could see my company address, the balance associated to it, as well as update it. Anything I update in the system could either be submitted for workflow for approval or update the ERP directly. I have an ACH change form here if I want to submit a change to my ACH details. I won't bore you with me filling that out, but you can see it, as well as the ability to update my contact records, change addresses and things like that. And then now let's skip over the contracts. So contracts is pulling the underlying contracts for this customer from the ERP, but I've also associated a workflow to this. So you can see here I have the ability to renew these. What the renewal is going to do is kick off a workflow, and that workflow will send the customer a contract that they must complete in order to renew their terms with me. Here I've received actually a DocuSign template. And if I click on this button, it's going to open that contract, giving me the ability to review it as well as electronically sign it. Upon the customer accepting this contract, this will also go for an internal review. So I will get a task sent to me for an internal person, such as a contract administrator or account manager, giving them the ability to review the contract that I just completed, as well as accept it or reject it. From there, the customer will get a notification that their contract has been renewed, and you can see I just received it right there. So that was contract renewal. A couple other things to highlight here. We have a satisfaction survey. This is leveraging Microsoft Forms, so I could fill out a customer satisfaction survey with all the details. And then last but not least, I have a discussion board if I want to have a place for my customers to post questions and for me to respond. So that was it for our demo site. Let's go ahead and switch back to the PowerPoint presentation. So the next step on our agenda is to look at a customer's example site. So for respect to the customer, we blogged off their logos and whatever else in their branding. So you could just get the general idea of what they're using it for. Again, company and contact information, so that was one that we covered in our demo. Ability to update banking or EFT information, see their payments as well as see their invoices. Okay, let's talk about what a portal is not. As you can see, this is a customer portal, but it's not intended to be a business to consumer site, and it's really not intended to be an e-commerce or an Amazon experience. Nor is it intended to be instant gratification, right? These portals are really something you have to think about what it is my customers want to see and provide that to them to the portal so they have an incentive for coming here and obviously using this tool. Let's talk about what a portal is and whether or not it's right for you. A SharePoint portal is really geared towards B2B relationships. So again, it's not so much geared towards business to consumer, it's more geared towards business to business. The other thing to note here is that collaboration is key. I really only need to give my customers a portal if I have information to share with them, right? If my customers just buy something from me and that's the end of my relationship, a portal is probably not going to provide a lot of value. But if I need to collaborate with them on the order status, on shipping details, on data, on reports, on analytics, all of that information is where a portal really shines because now you have the ability to automate that exchange. And then the last thing you see here is long-term customer or vendor relationships. Again, if a customer just buys something and they're out of here, they're probably not going to have interest in logging into a portal. But if I have a customer over a long period of time that spans several transactions for years, then they're vested with me. They have a desire there to log into that portal and see those interactions over time. Where do we go from here? So I will leave you with some links that I'll put here in the description for this video as well. Building SharePoint portals and SharePoint on Extranet, these are two Microsoft provided articles that are worth a read. And then lastly, the DynamicPoint portal page where we have some examples and some more videos that you could check out. And then some personal reflection. Do you use Office 365? Again, all of this is SharePoint based. Would my business benefit from a portal? Did you meet that criteria there on who a portal is good for? And then would your customers or vendors, of course, benefit from a portal? Because all of those things are really necessary for your organization to get value out of this. And that was all the time we had for today. So thank you so much for joining. I appreciate everyone being here. Take care.